quote, very bad future if they don't help reopen the Strait of Hormuz and deal with the Iran threat. Here to weigh in is U.S. Ambassador to NATO, Matt Whitaker. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us. Here is the exact quote from the president yesterday. It's only appropriate that people who are the beneficiaries of the strait will help to make sure that nothing bad happens there. If there's no response or if it's a negative response, I think it will be very bad for the future of NATO. I'm going to ask you the difficult question in forecasting your boss, but what do you think the president means by that?
Well, first of all, let's set the facts straight. The Iranian regime continues to threaten global trade and energy security by blocking the Straits of Hormuz and only letting certain traffic go through. There are a lot of folks that benefit. The United States of America is a net energy exporter. We have plenty to supply our own country. And so this is about other countries, including China, including our NATO allies, that receive oil and gas from the Gulf. And ultimately, that security of the Strait of Hormuz is in their interest. And so he is absolutely right to suggest that our allies need to help us and support our efforts in making sure that the Iranian regime no longer has ballistic missiles, Shahed drones, or developing a nuclear weapon. And all of these things add up to a fact that this should be the whole world, our allies, our friends, folks that benefit from the energy in the Gulf, coming together and, sending a clear message that the Iranian regime can no longer get away with this.
Well, speaking of that, the Financial Times is also reporting that Italy and France have contacted Iran to try and arrange passage for their ships. While President Trump is trying to create this coalition against Iran, how does the U.S. view that?
Well, it's a sign of weakness. President Trump has made NATO stronger, has encouraged our NATO allies to do more, to spend 5% on their defense. And we need strong, lethal European allies, plus Canada, to address their own conventional defense and allow them to project power. I mean, remember, the United States of America right now is the global superpower. We are the ones that can do these types of efforts. But at the same time, if we had allies that were equally strong, that could defend our people even better. And so, that's what we're pushing here at NATO. And every single day I get up and make sure that that's the path we're on.
Okay, so the president also said when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz that he may delay his trip to China. That trip's supposed to happen at the very tail end of this month. If China, which is a huge beneficiary of oil coming from the Strait, doesn't help secure that waterway. So we're talking about China now and China helping what the United States wants to do. But also take a listen to what the Iran foreign minister said yesterday regarding both China and Russia.
Russia and China are our strategic partners, and we have had close cooperation in the past, which still continues, and that includes military cooperation as well with these two countries, politically, economically, even militarily. To say once again that this is not our war.
Okay, so if China is Iran's strategic partner, then can we anticipate China helping secure the strait?
Well, remember what that means. A strategic military partner means that Iran and I guess China are trying to kill American troops. That's very bad for China. That is not a good look. And President Trump and President Xi are going to have to get together and work this out, because ultimately, we cannot have a world where hostile forces, including Iranian forces, are trying to do damage and injure and ultimately try to kill American troops. And so, we need to push back every single day. China is benefiting from cheap Iranian oil. Those days are ending, because President Trump saw that it was no longer